What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 44. My name is Jason. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm joined, as always, by my other co-host, Travis. Travis, what's good this early afternoon?
Not much, man. I was gonna tell you about this commercial I just saw from the Sonic.
Oh, okay.
So they have a bacon jam burger. Have you seen this?
I have, yeah.
Have you tried it?
No, because it looks like they put mayonnaise, and mustard on it, which doesn't make sense.
Right. So when I first saw the commercial, I thought it was baked beans.
Baconaise?
I thought it was baked beans.
Oh, baked beans.
Yeah, like they got the Bush's dog, and he's like, "Hey, man, let's like Bush's beans is like." Bush's beans is like the cranberry salesman. They're getting into everything now. Cran apple, cranberry. So I was like, okay, maybe beans are doing that now. And then they're like, bacon jam. And then, of course, like you said, they had the mustard and the mayonnaise. And I was like, who the hell is into this?
No, your condiment is the bacon jam.
Right. It's like a white people creation there. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say
we love mayonnaise and bacon.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, like the bacon jam is the condiment. Like you don't need the mayonnaise and the mustard after that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I do like, to be fair, I have had a bacon and mayo sandwich.
Oh yeah, sure.
So
Okay,
that makes sense on that. I'll buy that. I'll buy into that. But the mustard, I don't know where that falls in anywhere.
yeah. I will say, in a little bit in Sonic's defense, the burger, it seems like once a month they come out with these new like craft burgers or whatever. So the one before this was the like mesquite butter bacon burger or barbecue bacon burger, something like that. And it was actually very good. I did try it, and it was worth eating. I would have ate it again. So
It was
anyway.
worth eating.
It was worth eating.
That's a good review.
It turned out to be worth eating. It turned out to be worth eating. Anyway, Travis, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together and discuss all of the week's news, rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. And we do it all in under 90 minutes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services from around the world, as well as YouTube, where we post our episodes every Monday as well. You can find us on the YouTube at the DualSense Podcast. And also, if you want to talk with us, you want to engage with us, you can find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. And without further ado, Travis, talk to me about what's been going on in your gaming escapades this week.
We had our second league race in LSR, qualified 8th. I finished 6th, but I had we were actually pretty tight in qualifying. Our lap times were really, really close, and we were at Spa, which is a really fast track. So you basically need to have the draft to be competitive. And I was in the first few laps. I had moved up to I was in second for a little bit, and I was content with sitting in the draft and waiting because it's like an hour long. So you might as well just sit there and wait until the last 10 minutes before you fool around. That's the kind of weird thing about endurance racing. Like, you're not going as hard as you can every lap because you're like trying to save the tires and the fuel, and it almost makes a sprint race more interesting because if you're not going to do anything until the last 10 minutes, why not just race 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But racing for an hour allows things to happen, like some guy pit maneuvers you and you lose the draft and then come in 6th. So that's nice. That didn't piss me off at all. Anywho,
never will.
I think I'm 7th in the standings. I'm like really close to 6th and 5th. So I could definitely, like I said before, like I told you before offline, none of my teammates have shown up and everybody else's teammates have. So what typically happens is you hook up with your teammate and you just draft and, you strategize with each other about pits and, different tire strategies or how to save fuel and stuff like that. And you help each other out. Well, I don't have a teammate, so I'm going solo. So it makes it a little difficult. But that is what it is. Other than that, I did some other races on the daily stuff. I had a bunch of third places. It seems like that was my number this week. I had 2 different guys crash me while I was just trying to pass them. One guy tried to push me into the pits, and he had gotten a penalty in the turn before, so I think he got mad. And then I just happened to be the guy there. and then the other guy I was trying to pass him for second on the last lap, and he did not like that. So he just basically, like when we were driving down the straightaway, he was just bouncing off of me, like kept turning into me.
Jesus
So
Christ.
yeah. Anyway, so that's a lot of fun. You gotta love that. But anyway, other than that, I played a little bit of FIFA, not too much. I beat Chelsea in the Super Cup last night,
Is that
and
the final of that or what?
no, the Super Cup is it's like at the beginning of the year, and I won the Champions League, so that's why I was there. And then they won, I guess, the Europa League or something. So
Okay.
you play them for the quote unquote Super Cup. I'm not 100% sure where they came from, but it doesn't matter. I beat them. Then what else did we do? We played Battlefield.
Yeah.
I was I was doing pretty well this week actually. I had a couple of games that were just I was out of my mind. I don't know what happened, especially at Iwo Jima.
It's a fun map. All
Right.
those maps are fun, those Asian ones or Pacific ones.
So I've the Asian ones. I've gotten much better at like cycling through what weapon I use. So like based on, what the capture point is, if I'm sniping or if I'll go medic or, if I'll go assault. I almost never go assault. I go pretty much support medic and sniper. I couldn't tell you last time I was assault.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Sten gun a lot. That's part of the reason. I
Sure.
really like the Sten gun. And for some reason I got hooked into this I've been using the Ross the last few weeks sniper rifle, and I was using
Oh yeah.
the Japanese one last night, the Ascara, whatever it's called. Anyway,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was popping
Type
heads.
99.
Right. So yeah, I did get a double headshot with one bullet, which was exciting.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
and then I got another guy. I was on Iwo Jima, and he was running up the beach, and I was looking through my scope, and he was running through like a smoke. I guess somebody called it a smoke barrage, which is odd, but there was smoke everywhere. An explosion goes off behind him, and it lit up his silhouette. And I just happened to be right there, and I just blew his head off.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was like I was in Die Hard or something. Like it was awesome.
What else? Is that all you've been playing or anything else?
Uh huh.
Okay. Everything good over there?
Yeah, I was just seeing how long you let it be quiet.
I'm just making sure you got it all out.
I could have transitioned, but then I thought it would be more fun to sit here until you got worried.
I was worried after about 4 seconds, so it's not too bad. Well, I have FIFA on my list, but I got to thinking about it. I don't think I actually played FIFA this week, so I'm not going to talk about that because I don't think I actually played it. Definitely played Battlefield, like you were just talking about, and I also rediscovered the Sten gun this week. I do play with the assault class quite a bit. That surprises me that you don't. I enjoy it, but anyway, played that, and then also I continued on with Days Gone, and I'm about probably a little over halfway through the game on Days Gone,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it's got I want to keep playing it, so I keep going back to it. So it's I've got over the hump, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and I plan to see it through to the end unless I just like get extremely pissed off with it for some reason. I have not fought one of the like zombie hordes yet, That's
Mm-hmm.
supposedly like one of the main features of the game, but I have read many times that they don't actually let you fight one until like the last third of the game, which definitely seems like that's true. I'm getting close to that. I think I'm building to that. So it's such a weird design decision to put like one of the marquee features of your game, like in the second half of it. I don't know.
Right.
That seems like a poor decision. And then, but it's good so far. It's still above average, I would say. I'm enjoying it though. I'll keep going. And then the last thing, Travis, that I've been playing that's not on the list here because it's a new edition and I can't wait to tell you about it is the Chivalry 2 beta. I started it last night and played the tutorial, and then after you finish the tutorial, you can just go to matchmaking, and they're working through some kinks with the servers, and so I wasn't able to matchmake and join a game last night, so I just got off. So then this morning, right before we were recording this, I jumped back in and they fixed the servers, whatever the issues are, and was able to matchmake and get in a couple of games. And dude, that game is fucking dope. It's awesome. Like you need to watch the video that because I streamed just now before we were doing this. It's like 20 minutes. You need to watch it. First of all, I guess, so the first thing I'll say about it is it takes, a little bit of adjustment because it's a first person, melee, like sword fighting game. And
which we've talked about before.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about before how that's hard to do, but I actually think they've done a very good job of it. And if you, for whatever reason, if you don't like the first person, you can switch to third person. So I thought that was cool. It's kind of like Fallout. Like you just hit the touchpad and you can go to third person.
Oh, okay.
But I really think you're probably missing part of the experience if you play in third. So anyway, I've got so much to say about it, even in just like 20 minutes. So the first class, there's 4 classes, and the 2 games that I played, there's regular just team death, and then there's a team objective, and it's like where you're trying to siege a castle, and you're like moving the siege, whatever things that you got to barge the gates in with or whatever. And then there's one where you have to like get to the end and like kill like the king or whatever, and that's how you win. So anyway, the first class that I tried was called a footman, and you have you have like an axe, basically like a halberd, and each class has different traits and like special equipment, and like you have a side arm. Apparently, I have no idea how to get the side arm out right now. And so anyway, and then each weapon obviously plays differently. One has more reach and so on and so forth. So whatever, spawn in, got my axe, my long axe, and you spawn in by sprinting into the battlefield, which is a cool little animation.
Sweet.
So then you take off. Yeah, you take off. I don't know how many people are in the game, but it seemed like there was like probably 30 other people on my team. It seemed like Battlefield, like it's like 32 on 32 or something. Anyway, so there's people everywhere, and then you're just like fighting them, and then it's really easy to figure out. Like you've got 3 different types of attacks on the right trigger, left trigger, and then the shoulder buttons. And then one of them is a block button. I don't remember. I think the trigger is the block button. So anyway, you can chain. Yeah, so you can chain all the stuff together, and then you can block and like counter attack, like repost as they call it, and like you decapitate people all the time. And so like there was one time I picked up a sword off the ground and I like did a heavy swinging attack, and then like you can move the right stick and you can basically do like a 360 swing if you want.
Holy shit!
So you control your like swinging motion with the right stick in a way. And so I decapitated. I cut a guy's head off right in front of me because I was like swinging the camera back around, and that dude just was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I decapitated the guy right in front of me, and I saw it. It was awesome. It's on my stream. You'll have to watch. So then the other classes are Knight, which has a long sword, which I tried in the second game, which was fun. And then there's 2 other classes I haven't tried yet, were Archer, which is self-explanatory. I did see a guy with a crossbow, so I guess you can unlock a crossbow for that class. And then the other one was cavalry, maybe, like you can get on a horse. I think you have to unlock that one. Can't remember. Anyway, dude, it is awesome, and it's easy to pick up, and then you're just going at it. And you have like then one time I spawned and I was like trying to get to where the battering ram or whatever it was, we were defending that game, and they were bringing it up the hill. And I guess they had like a trebuchet, because like as soon as I got close to the battering ram, this huge boulder just lands on me and kills me, and I go flying across the map, and that's how I died. So I guess that's a thing too. Amazing. And then the last thing I'll say about it, the last thing I'll say about it is, if you get shot with a bow, the arrow is like stuck in you. So like if you're in first person, I got shot with a bow and there's an arrow stuck in my left arm. You can see it like sticking out of you, which I think is awesome. So then another time I picked up a ballista bolt off the ground, and I threw it and speared a guy right in the chest with it.
Sweet.
And that's God, dude. It's so awesome. Yeah. I honestly, I mean, I may pre-order it. That's how taken back with it I am. So I loved every minute of it, and it wasn't hard. And even when I died, like when I was getting my arms chopped off and shit, like I was just laughing. Like it's I don't know, man. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, that's all I've been playing this week.
Do you want to talk about not talk about, but just to point out that we you us got a code for the game
Oh yeah.
to play, and it's kind of like it's like we're something now.
Yeah, so we got lucky on our podcast Twitter. PlayStation Universe, the website was giving away codes, and I just happened to see their tweet like right when they did it. And so you had to, retweet, and reply. So I did all that. And then they, like the next day, they sent me a message and say, hey, here's a code for Chivalry 2. And I was like, dope, fucking sick. And so didn't have to, because normally to play the closed beta this weekend, you had to pre order the game
Right.
to be able to play it, which I actually would recommend to you to do now to play it. God, it's so fucking dope. So now, but that's what
Check
we
it out
talked
for
about
sure.
yesterday. Yeah, you and I were yesterday. We're talking. We're like, yeah, now we'll know if it's good or not. We don't have to pay $40 to find out. Well,
Right.
I can tell you that it's worth $40 in my opinion. Anyway, dope ass game. I'm gonna play it some more this weekend and see if my feelings don't change. And if they don't, I'm probably gonna go for it because I mean, and there's a PS5 version, so I keep going on. We really need to get into the news, but you know how you and I kind of talked about how it looks a little bit janky, like in some of the videos that we watched. I
Mhm.
honestly think that that's because of the video itself, because I haven't noticed like any type of like jankiness because I'm playing the PS5 version of the beta. It looks good and it runs good, so I don't know what the deal is on that, but it looks good to me. Anyway, let's jump into the news here. We got a lot to get to. Number one, in a series of smaller announcements and interviews this week, PlayStation rather quietly but significantly began to punch back at a recent barrage of Xbox power moves. For starters, SIE top dog Jim Ryan gave an interview to Asian business publication Nikkei, guess that's how you say that, where he made a couple of interesting remarks. First, Ryan stated that PlayStation, quote, have been quietly but steadily investing in high quality games for PlayStation, and we will make sure that the PS5 generation will have more dedicated software than ever before. We've repeatedly engaged in mergers and acquisitions, including Insomniac Games in the United States. We will not rule out that option in the future. End quote. Ryan also told the publication that Sony is working on a strategy for cloud gaming on PlayStation 5 that will be unique, stating, quote, we could conceivably use the cloud for our technical infrastructure, but the cloud gaming experience we're offering will be unique and only on PlayStation, end quote. Elsewhere, the head of PlayStation Studios, Herman Hulst, gave an interview to website gamesindustry.biz where he revealed that PlayStation has a publishing agreement with new developer Firewalk Studios to bring their new AAA multiplayer IP exclusively to PlayStation 5. The studio consists of former Bungie and Activision employees who have worked on Destiny and other major games, and it currently employs almost 100 developers. Holst told GameIndustry.biz that the two sides have been working together for about 2 years now, and he also revealed on Twitter that he has already been playing a version of the game. And finally, Sony began testing a new service in Poland this week called PlayStation Plus Video Pass. The service will give Plus subscribers in the country access to over 20 movie and television shows from Sony Pictures, with new content being added every 3 months. SIE's Global Services Vice President Nick McGuire told Polish website Spider's Web that the test will run for 1 year, after which Sony would then decide whether or not to launch the service worldwide. All right, so there's a lot to take in there, but what comments or thoughts do you have on any of this?
I think that the technical infrastructure, like to put the cloud, use that for the technical infrastructure. What does that really mean? Like that's interesting to me. I don't really know
Yeah,
how you make cloud gaming unique to PlayStation. Like, isn't it what it is in the first place? Like, the only thing that
yeah,
would be unique to it would be the exclusives, which they also say in this news piece here that they're they're completely okay with investing in high quality games or studios they think will give them that level of game. And you
hmm,
see it later on here with Firewalk Studios being exclusively on PS5. So
right,
it seems like their response is, yeah, we'll do something with the cloud. We'll try to make it different, but basically, what makes PlayStation the advantage of PlayStation is the high quality of game, and that we're going to keep doing that. It's basically how I read that, and I think it's fair to assume that this multiplayer IP is definitely a shooter of some sort. because since they got guys from Bungie and Activision, I mean, it seems like that
Mm-hmm.
can only be a shooter of some kind.
I'd
That's
agree.
so basically we're going to get an exclusive shooter, which you've talked about before that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
that solves that. That checks that box. I'm not sure what this video pass does. For me, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
like I just said with the infrastructure on the cloud. I'm not sure what either of those things do. I mean, on paper, when I think about like having the infrastructure on the cloud, that could be a big advantage in some way if you could do it in the right way. I think it could really, I don't know, up the performance of the console in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't know how any of that works either.
Yeah. No, I understand. So I have a few thoughts. I guess I'll just start from the top. So first of all, it seems that, kind of like we've been slowly kind of putting the pieces together, and we've seen some info trickle out with Sony. We know, like we talked about in the past, most of their teams, most of their studios are working on 2 games. We've also heard in the past that they are spending a ridiculous amount of money to lock down exclusives or exclusivity agreements, as far as like time period exclusive, like 6-month exclusivity or 1-year exclusivity, those sorts of things. So it seems like all of those things are coming true. And that's what they mean when Jim says that they're going to have, more exclusive content and games than ever before on PlayStation 5,
Mhm.
which is exciting. It seems like they're not going to necessarily buy a studio, although he does say that they have that option. I feel like they're just going to keep going down this road where they just, buy a game for a year or buy it exclusively outright. I think they're just going. I think, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's definitely cheaper than going and buying a whole studio. You know what I
Right.
mean? So maybe there's something to that. And then also the other thought is maybe this is like tryouts in a way, like
Yeah.
with these guys from Firewalk, with Housemark, with Returnal, like maybe these are, and that other studio, Haven, from a few weeks ago that they announced that they have bought a game with. Maybe these are tryouts, and maybe if these studios make a hit, maybe Sony will buy them. Maybe that's how they're approaching it, which that's smart. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
argue against that. And then in terms of the cloud, I really have no idea on this either. I'm kind of like you. Like so far, all we pretty much know about the cloud is either you use it to stream games like Stadia or xCloud with Microsoft, or you use it to increase your like back end power, on a multiplayer game, whatever. So I don't know how they would make something unique. My only I guess pipe dream in a way is that maybe they're going to make some type of handheld that allows you to that's an actual it's not your phone, that you're having to use a touchscreen. It's like an actual controller with everything, all the features that we're used to now, and you use it to stream your PlayStation games to that device. That's the only thing I can think, though. That's my just like shot in the dark idea, which would be awesome if it worked. So anyway, I guess we'll see about that. And then the last thing, as far as the video pass, I couldn't give a shit about the video pass. I mean, I guess it's just added value. If they're going to give us movies and shows, it's whatever. But I mean, this guy Nick McGuire said the reason they asked him like why Poland basically in this interview, and he said, well, that's because our data shows that Poland really engages in video on demand content. So I think that's about all you need to know right there. That
That's interesting.
I guess that Poland watches the most video on demand, at least in their ecosystem. So anyway, and then I did forget about Firewalk Studios. Their game, whatever I mean, it sounds cool. It's promising. They got the Bungie, Destiny guys for a multiplayer exclusive, like you said. So we've talked about, they need that. So that's good news. But I don't know. And then the fact that he's been playing a version of it makes me wonder how far off it is. I don't know.
Right, it's kind
Maybe
of
it's probably
interesting.
next year, I'm guessing, but we'll see. Number 2, in a rather shocking move this week, SIE president and CEO Jim Ryan yet again announced on the PlayStation blog that SIE was reversing course on the closure of the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita digital storefronts. Players will continue to have the ability to purchase games on both platforms. However, the PlayStation Portable Store will still close as scheduled on July the 2nd. In his statement on the blog, Ryan stated, quote, Upon further reflection, it's clear that we made the wrong decision here. When we initially came to the decision to end purchasing support for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita, it was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices and the ability for us to focus more of our resources on newer devices, where a majority of our gamers are playing on. We see now that many of you are incredibly passionate about being able to continue purchasing classic games on PS3 and PS Vita for the foreseeable future, so I'm glad we were able to find a solution to continue operations, end quote. Any thoughts?
It's a nice backpedal with a nice explanation there.
Right.
Do you think the Vita Island thing that really got to him? He's over here watching one of his babies die. Maybe it was too much for him.
I don't know, man. I think they were just having like stuff. I think if everything else was going well for Sony publicly, like marketing wise, if they were hot and Microsoft was just kind of sitting there not doing anything, this wouldn't have happened, is my opinion. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right. They want to do something for the gamers.
yeah, they needed a little bit of a pop of good news, and so they started with this, and then followed that with all of the stuff we were just talking about a minute ago. So I still maintain that if they would have said that they were only going to keep PS Vita store open, I think that would have been fine too, because PS3 and PSP, like we've talked about, are 15 and 16 years old. Those make sense to me, but Vita only being 9 years old, that never really
Mhm.
made sense to me. And the fact that they still had new games in development on Vita, so it makes total sense to me to keep the Vita store open. PS3, I don't know about that. Nobody's making games for that, as far as I know. But it's exciting. I'm glad they did it. So now everybody can, I had my list of games that I needed to buy before August 27th, and I'll still buy those eventually. But everybody can kind of chill out for a minute and not flip out about having to go out and get those. So anyway, it's good news. We finally got a win. Number 3, former Sony Bend and Days Gone director John Garvin had some strong words for gamers while speaking on a recent interview with God of War creator David Jaffe. In regards to Days Gone not getting a sequel, Garvin stated, quote, "If you love a game, buy it at fucking full price," end quote. He also claimed that Metacritic scores mean everything to Sony in terms of measuring the success of a game, which does line up with Jason Schreier's reporting recently, which revealed that Sony believed Days Gone was not received well enough by critics to justify greenlighting Days Gone 2. What do you think?
First of all, Garvin, that doesn't make sense because how can I love a game before I buy it in the first place? Like, without a demo or a beta, there's probably no way I'm gonna fully know if I really want something. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing about it that I was thinking of was, if you know that Metacritic scores are so important to PlayStation, then you have 2 options. Keep that in mind while you're making the game and make sure that you've done some things they'll like, because I'm sure when you look at the critics, it's like a movie, like there's gotta be certain things they think are interesting or they score really high. So you should keep that in mind while you're making
Yeah.
the game, or don't make games for PlayStation. Those are your 2 options. So, look, cursing at the players probably isn't the best way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this. You have, especially on a new IP that is unknown, like
Right.
you have no idea until the game comes out. You see reviews if you're going to like a game or not.
Mhm.
So do people see those things and still go buy the game at full price? Absolutely. Like there's been times where I've waited for a game to come out, seen the reviews, and bought it a week later at full price. So I think that he's a little bit misplaced in his thinking a little bit. I mean, if he thinks people wanted the game and then waited for it to be $30, I mean, are there a handful of those? Sure, but most of the time, people, like, for me anyway, if I buy a game on sale, like if it was a $60 game and I got it at $30, it's because I've been curious about it, but not curious enough to pay $60, so I got it at 30. But if I like wanted the game, then even if it was a week later, I bought it. So I think there's 2 different audiences there that he's kind of like blending together.
Mhm.
And is what I'm trying to say. But if he thinks that those people are the reason why he didn't get a sequel, I don't think I necessarily agree with that. What I would agree with is the fact that Metacritic score does mean a lot to Sony. That makes total sense. And the game sits in the 70s, I think. And you know what? based on my experience so far, I would agree that it's in the 70s. It's an above average game. So you're not going to convince me it's better than Ghost of Tsushima or, anything like that, which was a new IP. But
Right.
anyway, I
And
think I
just
think John's a little bitter.
in two things I would say are the people that buy games at $30 that are, or whatever, that buy games on sale are one,
Mm-hmm.
the person like you just described yourself, where you're curious, but 60 or $70 is a steep price to pay for something that you're just curious about, right? That's a pretty steep
Right.
gamble for a lot of people. And the other thing
Yeah,
is people that buy games on discount buy serial games like FIFA or Call of Duty or 2K. Like they come out every year. They're not that different. Wait till it goes on sale.
that's a good point.
That's what a lot of people do with that. So I don't know who he's yelling at, like on that front.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
That's kind of the way I look at that. I think I had another point, but I don't remember it because I got caught up on him. Oh, what he's the type of person he seems like to me is like the guy who makes a craft beer and doesn't understand why people like Budweiser. You know,
I love that. It's a great
you should
analogy.
buy
That's
my
exactly
fucking
what it is.
microbrew. Like, no, it's okay. It's fine. I'm not gonna. You want me to pay this? Okay, look, I can get. I can. I don't know. It's just. It's fine, dude. Like, I get that you're like some craftsman, and it seems like you're bitter because people pay $60 every year for Call of Duty, and you don't
Mm,
you don't understand because it's barely different, and your game has some real soul and heart, and it's a
mm.
real vision and unique. Look, I get it, man, but you can't get lost in your own feelings.
Number 4, Tom Henderson, Travis, apparently doesn't just leak Battlefield info, as this week he shared new info regarding this year's Call of Duty title. For starters, Henderson is hearing that the game will be quote unquote held back so bad by last gen consoles. He also claims that 2022's game is rumored to be a sequel to 2019's Modern Warfare, and it will also be a cross gen release from developer Infinity Ward. So, I know that's
Mhm.
a rather short one, but what do you make of that?
I feel like I've heard that it was going to be a sequel for a while now. That's been a pretty common rumor. The funny part about this story is how I took it. I found myself being like, yeah, suck at Call of Duty for being retarded, like Battlefield's not that stupid. And then I realized that I don't hate Call of Duty, so I don't know why I immediately got so angry at them. And then it's almost like I
Yeah.
relate Call of Duty players with Xbox players, and I wanted to shove it in their face. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's like, I don't even know where
Sure.
that came from. But immediately when I saw that, I thought, yeah, don't be stupid. But I mean, it Call of Duty almost seems like it makes more sense to be cross-gen just because of the amount of people that
Mm.
play it.
That's a good point. I haven't really considered that. There are definitely more Call of Duty players than Battlefield players. And to your point, it does seem like Battlefield is a game, a more of a mature, like rightly or wrongly. I feel like more. Jesus Christ, I'm having a stroke. I feel like older people play Battlefield more than they play Call of Duty. Does that make sense? I feel like
Right.
younger people play Modern Warfare or Call of Duty more than they do Battlefield. So I get what you're saying in terms of that. I do. I gotta say, the last thing I gotta say about it is, dude, I'm so sick of this cross gen games, and I know that there's precedent for Call of Duty to do this. I think when the PS4 came out, that for the first 2 or 3 years that it was out, they kept bringing the game on PS3 as well. So I mean, I get that, and it's hard to leave that revenue behind, but I'm really hoping that Battlefield leaves the last gen behind, because if they do and they just bring it out on current gen now, man, I think they're going to have a banger. And I think that in terms of like mind share, they may actually be able to outdo Call of Duty this time around if they can create some type of blockbuster experience that nobody's seen or felt before.
Yeah, and it also may drive new console sales too, once people see what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I guess we're going to find out. I mean, the rumor was that they were going to announce Battlefield in May, but I mean, EA is going to do a thing during E3 in June, so I kind of think they're just going to wait until June and do it and make a big splash. But we'll see. I don't want to wait that long, but we may have to. Number 5, in related news, Electronic Arts shared a brief update on this year's Battlefield entry, revealing that they have their biggest development team ever working on the game. The studios include DICE proper, DICE Los Angeles, Criterion, and Electronic Arts Gothenburg. DICE general manager Oscar Gabrielson stated in the update that, quote, "Together we are creating a jaw-dropping experience for you to enjoy later in 2021," end quote. He went on to say, quote, "We're in daily playtesting mode right now, polishing, balancing, and making the best possible Battlefield game we can. I can tell you it is a bold step. It has everything we love about Battlefield and takes all of it to the next level, all brought to life with the power of next-gen consoles and PCs," end quote. It's interesting.
So the interesting thing is that they have everybody in the world working on it, which to
Yeah.
me means one of two things. Either it's going to be completely amazing or it's going to be a damn shit show because you have so many moving parts. But I have no reason to expect it
Yeah.
not to be good at this point. And another thing I thought was interesting at the end when he says, with the power of next gen consoles and PCs, if you go back to Enlisted,
Mm-hmm.
part of the things that the enlisted developers talked about and the guys who actually liked the game talked about was you could do things on that game with P versus E or squad setups or building out these crazy different in-depth skill sets with all these different squads um, and battalions. Like that stuff you could do on PC that you couldn't do on console before, and now you can. So I wonder what Battlefield will give us that they could do on PC previously that now we can finally do because we have the computing power. I think that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
interesting too.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. And the things that we've heard so far from Tom Henderson that he's leaked about Battlefield, about how the destruction is going to be, next level and this and that. We've heard these different little tidbits. You combine that with what Oscar said here about the power of next gen consoles, and it makes me think, to my point earlier on the last news story, that maybe this is next gen only.
Hmm.
So it gives me some hope. They did not mention last gen at all in this little statement. They only mentioned next gen and PC specifically. So I'm really holding out hope that this thing is just on PS5. And it sounds awesome. It sounds like it's going. I mean, of course, they've been working on it for. We haven't had a Battlefield game for 3 years, so
Hmm.
they've been working on this thing for a while. And God, I can't wait, dude. I'm hoping this is an October game and not a November game, because I'm sure Call of Duty will be November. They need to get this thing out in October,
Right.
ahead of Call of Duty, and just go ahead and land the first punch.
This has a lot of what do you want to call it? Like the hype behind it reminds me of a big Hollywood action movie coming out. Like you're gonna love it. It's got Gerard
Yeah,
Depardieu in it or whatever.
yeah, that's fair. I would agree with that. I mean, everything they've said so far is really hyping it up. So, God, I don't know, dude. This feels like this might be like, people, one of the first like truly next gen shooters, and that's awesome to me. Number 6, the Olympics announced on Thursday that Gran Turismo, Travis, will join this summer's Tokyo Games as part of the inaugural Olympic Virtual Series, the first ever Olympic event for esports. The series will take place from May 13th through June 23rd and features 5 video games, each of which are aligned with an international sports federation, which for Gran Turismo is the FIA, or the Federation Internationale del Automobile. This is also the first time ever that motorsports of any kind, real or virtual, have been recognized by the Olympics. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, and we talked about this the other day. It's wild that no real motorsport has ever been recognized by the Olympics, and
Hmm.
I think part of that is there's so many different disciplines. There's F1, there's NASCAR, there's rally, there's drag racing. There's a million different kinds. So like, how do you narrow it down without
Right.
having? You could just have your own Olympics that were just motorsport. You could do a motorsport Olympics and have 15 or 20 different disciplines. So that might be part of it. And doing it digitally, I think really, hey, this is the one thing. It's all digital, right? Maybe that makes it easier for them. I don't know. But
Yeah.
there was some people online saying like, why Gran Turismo? It's not the best. It's arcadey, this, that, and the other. Look, Gran Turismo is a powerhouse, and it has been for 2 decades. So to their point, there's not really a simulator like it.
Right.
There are things that it could have that are better. Like I think if the damage system could be actually exist, you get quote unquote damage, and it affects your car for like a lap or two, but you don't actually have damage like you do on iRacing. And the tire models are better
Yeah.
on some tracks than others. The weather isn't always all the way there, but there's only like one game in the world that has really good weather, and the rest of the game sucks ass. And that's Project Cars. So to their point, it's awesome that that this is a thing. Like it's the biggest. It's the closest I'll ever be to being an Olympian, and I have less than 1% chance of being an Olympic esports driver.
Yeah, the other cool, well, couple of things about this. I guess first of all, the interesting thing about esports in the Olympics now is, and all the other real sports, besides esports, you get too old. You age out of competing
Hmm.
at a high level at the Olympic level. There's with esports, there's nothing to say that a 55-year-old dude or girl couldn't be the best Gran Turismo racer in the world, which is crazy to me.
Right.
So to imagine like a 55-year-old Gran Turismo player in like Washington is a gold medalist.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just so
Right.
crazy to me. But it's awesome, man. Are you gonna watch it? Are you gonna watch your Gran Turismo in the Olympics?
Oh, yeah, but the Americans aren't going to win. We'd be lucky to even place.
Really?
The fastest, yeah, the one of the fastest guys in the world lives in Spain. I think his name's
Huh.
Lopez. He's like bananas fast. There's a couple of guys out of Canada that are really fast. Turismo Lester is his name. He's always on the top 10 speed charts. And these are the guys, if
Hmm.
you go online, if you go to the Gran Turismo page, you can see the FIFA championships the last few years. And there's not really, there are Americans there. I forget the guy's name. He's actually really good. And I think he did win one of the races last year, like a rally car at Laguna Seca. But a lot of it'll be, my guess would be somebody European would win. So if you're an American, I wouldn't get your hopes too far up. I think there's an Australian guy who's really quick too.
Interesting. We just can't win anything, can we? It's at basketball. Number 7, Travis, we also have several news nuggets here. We have a lot, so feel free to jump in anytime. First nugget, both Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 have been nominated for 6 awards each at the Game Developers Choice Awards, which are selected by developers themselves. The nominations are for Best Audio, Best Design, Best Narrative, Best Technology, Best Visual Art, and Game of the Year. PS4's Dreams also received 3 nominations for Innovation, Best Technology, and Best Virtual Reality or Augmented Reality Game.
What's best technology mean?
Um, the way I understand it, it would be like basically like a game system. Like for instance, theirs with being able to like create games within a game. Does that make sense? Like that
Mm.
technology to be able to create a game within a game is what it means. Or if Call of Duty allowed you to like basically make your own campaign or something somehow, that would be eligible for that award. Is my guess.
Can you imagine that they greenlit a zombie game that won all these awards and got nominated for all these awards, but didn't do Days Gone 2 because you didn't buy it at full price, you asshole?
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, cheese and rice. Also, PlayStation games took home several DICE awards, the Oscars of video games, Travis, including Adventure Game of the Year for Ghost of Tsushima, RPG Game of the Year for Final Fantasy VII Remake, Online Game of the Year for Fall Guys, Outstanding Achievement in Animation for The Last of Us Part 2, Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction for Ghost of Tsushima, Outstanding Achievement in Character for Miles Morales, Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition for Ghost of Tsushima, Outstanding Achievement in Audio Design for Ghost of Tsushima, Outstanding Achievement in Story for The Last of Us Part 2, and Outstanding Technical Achievement for Dreams. So they're just racking up the awards here lately. PS4's Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition is now available for free as part of PlayStation's Play at Home initiative until May the 14th. Be sure you claim that, it's free. PlayStation Now subscribers can now stream compatible titles at 1080p resolution, and Sony also stated that they will continue improving game stream quality as time goes on. PlayStation updated the Share Factory Studio app this week, which increased the amount of clips, transitions, and music tracks that can be included in video projects. Sony announced they are officially sponsoring the Asobu, community hub for indie creators in Shibuya, Tokyo. Website GameIndustry.biz reported that CD Projekt Red sold 13.7 million copies of Cyberpunk 2077 by the end of 2020, 28% of which were sold on PlayStation 4. CD Projekt Red
Mhm.
also revealed that they issued refunds for about 30,000 copies.
That's nothing. And they're bragging about how much they've
Yeah.
sold basically in that article. They're bragging about both. Like we sold 13.7 million and we gave money back to 30,000 people who are investors.
Yeah. So the one thing I did, because I thought 30,000 copies was really low for as much like hubbub there was about it. So I was just curious, and I noticed yesterday on Twitter that someone, a journalist, kind of dove into this a little bit. So those 30,000 refunded copies are only the copies that were directly refunded by CD Projekt Red. It doesn't include any copies that PlayStation refunded, that Xbox refunded. You know what I'm saying? So there's probably more. There's probably way more than that. It's probably at least, I don't know, 500,000 or a million. Probably not a million, but probably, I think somebody estimated around like 400 or 500,000 actual refunds. So they kind of lied about that a little bit, which shocker there. Website Push Square reported that management sim game Spiritfarer has sold over 500,000 copies and also received a free update with a new character this week. That Square Enix announced that they will be at E3 in some capacity this June. That Konami has registered trademarks for Metal Gear Rising and Castlevania in Japan, which could be something or it may be nothing at all. That the director of Uncharted The Lost Legacy, Sean Escague, no idea how to say that guy's name, has rejoined Naughty Dog after leading the development of Marvel's Avengers. That a new Virtua Fighter game called Virtua Fighter Esports has leaked onto the Japanese PlayStation Store database, so that's probably imminent in terms of release. That the beloved Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic RPG is getting a remake by Texas-based studio Aspire Media, which we've talked about here on the show before, so that it was rumored and that's now pretty much confirmed. That Destruction All-Stars will get a photo mode for single player soon, as well as the first All-Star Pass, and I believe that they're doing some type of update next week. That Returnal preloading is available now and will take up 56 gigabytes on your PlayStation 5, and I can confirm that that is indeed the case. That Sony will host a China Hero Project press conference on April 29th, featuring updates on games from Chinese indie developers.
I can't believe they're allowed to make games there.
Right. I know. I am too. I guess they wouldn't be able to do it without Sony. You think the Chinese like the Japanese interfering in their business?
The Chinese don't like anybody interfering in their business. By the way, the Chinese have a
Fair.
conviction rate of like 99.6%.
Jesus Christ. That's video game numbers. That's not even possible.
There's
I
no
mean,
way. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I think ours is like 80%, but you don't want it to be 99% because then, what's worse, killing an innocent person or letting a guilty person walk? It's like, well, in China, it doesn't matter, clearly. Like, you're just
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah. So if you get arrested in China, you're pretty much going to jail, is what you're saying.
Yeah. They still execute people too. So, just don't go.
Yeah. Let's see here. Also, Travis, sci-fi survival horror RPG Chernobylite will come to PS4 sometime in July, with the native PlayStation 5 version following later this year. I'm actually interested in this game. I watched the announcement trailer of it, and there's some stuff there for me. It looks scary as hell, but it also looks very interesting. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that one.
You low key like horror games.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't know, man. I don't want to be scared, but I don't know. We'll see. Also, Sony has registered a trademark for Soho Engine in Switzerland and New Zealand, and it was also trademarked in Europe last year as well. Interestingly, Team Soho is the former name of Sony London Studio, which we know is working on a new IP for the PlayStation 5. Wonder if that's the engine for their new game. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan is departing Activision Blizzard after 19 years with the company. That Nier director Yoko Taro, sounds like Sonny Bono or something like that, and producer Yasuku Saito have begun work on a new indie-esque game.
It also sounds like Yoko Taro.
It does. Papo Giorgio. Let's see. Polyphony Digital Travis president Kazunori Yamauchi would like to make more than just Gran Turismo in the future, according to a recent interview. I don't know if you saw this, but I don't know what this dude was talking about. You need to get your boy under control.
He's just babbling. I don't know. This is like his baby, and then he's talking about doing other stuff, but wants to keep doing Gran Turismo. It's like, I don't know. It's like he just, I don't know. It's like Kojima not making Metal Gear or something.
He said he wanted to make a game where you could interpret life and objects in the world around you. And yeah, like, I mean, he was existential with that shit when he was, it made no sense to me. I don't know. I mean, it's not, I don't know what type of game he's wanting to make, but it doesn't sound like a video game. It sounds like he wants to
No.
make a movie.
When people get bored, they start getting into existential shit. So I guess Gran Turismo must be almost done.
True. Also, Travis, Sony is working on the CMOS internal clock battery problem that would brick PS4 and PS5 consoles should the internal battery die. I think there is a software update that they can do. Farming Simulator 22 will launch on PS4 and PS5 in the fourth quarter of this year. Controversial military shooter 6 Days in Fallujah was once in development at God of War studio Sony Santa Monica, according to former Sony Ben director John Garvin, who claims he was at the meeting where it got green lit. It's very interesting.
Well, I'll buy that game at fucking full price, John. And
Yeah, that's right, John.
I might get it just because I want to support a game like that getting greenlit in the first place.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, Sony Santa Monica new job listings, I should say, list working on a fantasy-based world and fantasy-based characters. And it's hard to say if that's for it's hard to say if that's for the next God of War, which is obviously a fantasy game, or if that's another IP. All right, let's see here. Website PlayStation Universe reported that Capcom will hold a third Resident Evil reverse beta test starting on April 21st. Hopefully this one fucking works for them. Developer Double Fine has reiterated that Psychonauts 2 will indeed be releasing sometime this year. Comical medieval shop management game Merrick's Market is set to release on PlayStation sometime this year. This game looks like Overcooked.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like Overcooked with medieval like sword making and potion making, basically. Also, the new iPad Pro supports the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, including the haptic feedback. Call of Duty Warzone developer Raven Software has confirmed it is working on a PlayStation 5 update, which will add many features, including 120 frames per second support. David Hayter, the voice actor for Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid, claims he has heard that a remake of the game might really be happening. Please, God, yes. Website Gamatsu reported that high-speed 3D shooter Wing of Darkness has gone gold and will release on PlayStation 4 on June the 3rd. Action platformer Non-Guns Doppelganger Edition will launch on PS4 on May 5th. The next game from Celeste developer Extremely OK Games is a 2D explore action pixel art game that is due out sometime in the future.
It does sound okay.
It does sound extremely okay. Time warping turn-based combat strategy first-person shooter multiplayer game. Jesus Christ. Limnus Gate has added a PlayStation 5 version in addition to PlayStation 4 and will release sometime this summer. And I actually watched the trailer for this and it actually does look kind of cool. I'm going to keep my eye on that.
Which part? The time warping or the turn-based combat strategy or the first-person multiplayer shooter part?
I don't know, man. Oh, wow. They checked a lot. They were trying to check every box possible, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tactical RPG, Travis. Empire of Angels 4 will release digitally on PS4 sometime this summer. Publisher Focus Home Interactive has acquired Space Hulk, Deathwing, and Necromunda hired gun developer Strom On Studio. What kind of name is that? Pixel art brawler Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl will release on PS4 on May 20th. First-person psychological horror game In Sound Mind will launch on PS5 on August 3rd. Fixed camera survival horror game Song of Horror will release on PS4 on May 28th. Retro futuristic action puzzle adventure game Retro Machina launches on PS4 on May the 12th. Fantasy narrative game Grotto will release on PS4 in the second half of this year. Old People Mayhem sandbox game Just Die Already will launch on PS4 on May 20th.
I think I watched something on this and it was pretty hilarious, like in a morbid way.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Also, base building survival action game The Rift Breaker will release on PS5 sometime this fall with a PS4 version coming sometime after that. Dude, this game I've had this on my radar for a long time. I'm excited. I'm very much looking forward to this. It looks so fucking dope. You guys should look it up if you're interested in anything like that.
Is this horror again?
No, not horror. Not horror. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. Did you ever play that Future Cop, like LAPD game with me back in the day on PlayStation 1?
Yes.
Where you had like the cop cars and they would transform into the mechs. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that in a way. top down with a mech, and you're like building a base, kind of like I don't know how to do. I don't know what a good example is. You're just
Like a
like
Mars
making a base,
simulator?
and yeah, like a simulator. Then you're like trying to like get resources, but at the same time you're like fighting all these like aliens and shit. So it's a mix of things, but it looks
Hmm.
dope. All right. Let's see here. Japanese action RPG Tales of Arise will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September the 10th. That one's pretty highly
Mhm.
sought after there. Visual novel detective game The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles will release on PS4 on July 27th. And finally, Gamatsu reported that open world racing game Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown will launch on PS4
We almost
and
made it.
we almost made it in PS5 sometime this year, or as I've typed here, it's launching on PS4 and PS4 sometime this year. Oh God. And that's all for the news this week. It's quite a bit. And with that, I'll turn it over to Travis so he can share this week's new game releases with us.
On April the 20th, we had Avoid Them, which is an actual game. I'm not saying to avoid all of these games. That's on PS4. On the VR, we had Mask Maker. And on the 5 and the 4, we have MLB The Show 21, which apparently has a pretty stellar stadium builder. I guess you'd call that technology, couldn't you?
You could.
On April 21st, we have Superhero X and World Splitter. The 22nd, we have Angels of Death. Buildings Have Feelings Too.
Uh-huh.
Devil Slayer Rakasai. MotoGP 21. Mystic Fate. Scourgebringer, which sounds really cool, and it's on the Vita, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to pick that up eventually for sure. Looks dope.
Next, we have Smelter. If you Smelter, you Delter.
Smelter, I hardly know her.
We also have Station Manager and Wrath the Oblivion Afterlife. On the 23rd, we have Dead Dust, Dungeon Gravestone, Judgment, Moon Raider, Near Replicant, and finally, the Skylia Prophecy.
Yeah, definitely. I want to point out Scourgebringer on the Vita. It's alleged. I love how the one. It does look like a fun game, and we don't get Vita games very often anymore. And then, but the other thing about that is that those guys tried to say that they were going to be the last game to release on Vita, and then I saw this week that there's another game releasing like May the 4th or 5th on Vita. So like, come on, dude, like, don't fucking lie. Anyway, that's all the new game releases this week. Travis, let's start to wrap the show up here. Talk to me about what you're looking forward to in the week ahead. Are you gonna play anything good this week?
Well, we have another race Wednesday. I have no idea where it is. I will continue my theme of not practicing till the day of, which has netted me 7th place, so it's pretty good, I have to say. And hopefully we'll have some good daily races again this week. They were a lot of fun last week. That's why I kept doing them. So it's very rare that you get one that has some staying power. And just shout out Gran Turismo if you're listening. You can stop putting races on the Tokyo circuit because it's just a safety rating shit show, and everybody loses driver rating, and we all hate it. So you can quit doing that. That'd be lovely. Other than that, I'm having a lot of fun on Battlefield, just popping heads and mowing people down and trying to be mildly patient as I play. Every time I get aggressive and get like last night, I flanked some guys with a sniper rifle, and I was about to just like I was about to be like on one of those sniper world record videos on YouTube. Like it was about to be something, and I shot one guy's head off, and then some random guy happened to float around and kill me. And like when you looked on the map, he was like out of bounds. I don't know what the fuck he was doing over there. That's why I didn't look. So that's typically my life in a nutshell on that game. But anyway, I'll play that. I'll probably throw in some FIFA if I get bored. And I guess I'll check out your Chivalry demo, and I might pre-order that and play the beta.
Dude, I'm telling you, just before you do anything, watch the stream that I had before we like. It's 20 minutes. You can do it. You can go watch it while you're taking a shit after this, and just tell me it doesn't look fun. Oh God, so good. So anyway, I guess for me, I'll probably play a little bit of FIFA this week and Battlefield like we normally do. We haven't played Zombie Army 4 this week. I don't know if we'll get into that or not. I also plan to continue on with Days Gone and just, get through that slowly but surely. I'm far enough along in that I just need to go ahead and finish it. There's really no point not to. So I need to do it so that I can understand it, it's not like I'm not enjoying it. I am having some fun with it, so that's fine. And then it looks like I'm going to play more Chivalry 2 beta because that is fucking awesome and I'm loving it. So I'm going to continue to play that. I think they've extended it a day, so it's going to go through until sometime on Tuesday, I think now. And it was supposed to end on Monday, but it'll be up all day Monday now too. Also, we got a big one. The last thing I wanted to be sure I mentioned this. Returnal drops on Friday. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That's maybe my most anticipated game this year. I can't wait for that. And I'm going to be, my plan is to stream it at midnight on Friday as soon as it releases on our page. So if you guys want to,
which is technically Thursday, right?
I guess so. Yeah, it'd be, well, no, because it comes out on Friday. So it would be 12:01 Friday morning that I'll stream. So if you guys are curious about it, but you want to see how it actually looks in motion or whatever, then stop by and check it out for a little bit. Probably won't have any commentary on that. I would just kind of like to play and let people see the game and hear the game, not listen to me huff and puff. So can't wait for that, dude. I'm so hyped for that. And it's been the last like 24, 48 hours. It's been getting the preview coverage by different media outlets who have been playing the game, and the previews are overwhelmingly positive. I haven't heard one negative thing about it other than some people have said it's hard and they don't know that if they're going to be able to finish it before the review embargo is up next Thursday, which,
Darn.
I mean, I don't know. But then I've heard other people say, yeah, it's challenging, but it's skill, it's not that hard. Like one guy finished it in like 15 hours. So,
Okay, fucking nerd.
right. But dude, I'm telling you, the review, everybody seems very high on the game. Several outlets have said that it's the first truly next gen game. One said that it was the next PlayStation 5 secret, like under the radar blockbuster hit. And I know I've been saying it for a few months now, but I'm going to stick to my guns. It's going to be a 90 plus on Metacritic. I can just feel it. I can feel it right in my plums. So I'm not going to back down now. And if it is a hit, even if it's in the 80s, like mid, to high 80s even, if it's that good and it sells well enough, Sony has to consider acquiring Housemarque, because to me that's a studio that has a lot of talent and they do unique things, and they're obviously not afraid to take chances and make a AAA like roguelite game that's in the past is always like an indie thing that you get,
And they went for it.
and they went for it, and it seems like it's going to be a hit. So there's that, but also I think just from a financial standpoint, they can get Housemarque for a reasonable price. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to have to go pay $500 million for these guys. So I think that you got to get those type of studios that are, on the up and up while you still can. Anyway, we'll see, but I'm excited for that. And that's pretty much it. So with that, we'll get out of here. If you guys enjoyed the show, please subscribe and maybe share us with a friend. We very much appreciate that. Also, if you could leave us a review on your podcast service or a comment on YouTube or leave us some stars or thumbs up or whatever, that all helps greatly. And we hope you will come back and listen to us again next week. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you then.